In this video, we'll be talking about lists. So, what are lists? Well, lists are just a collection of objects enclosed by square brackets. The objects or elements in a list can be of mixed data types, like a list can contain integer objects, float objects, string objects, and also sublists. So a list inside a list is known as a nested list. And all these various elements that are included in the list are separated by commas. So example of a list is my list is equal to square brackets. So that's just an empty list, and that's how you initialize lists in Python. And one important thing to remember is that lists are ordered, and that means that we can access specific elements in a list by using the object's index number. And indexing starts from 0. That means the first position is actually the 0th index, the second position is the first index, third position is the second index, and so on. And another important thing is that modifications are possible in lists. That means we can add, remove, or change elements of a list. And there are various other things that we can do, and we're going to see them. So the first method is our append method, which adds an element to the list. Second, we have an insert method, which is used to insert an element at a certain position. So the difference between these two is that append adds an element to the end of the list, so at the last position, and insert inserts an element at any particular position that we want. Third is a remove method, which removes an element from the list. The clear method removes all the elements from the list. The count method counts the number of times something occurs in a list. And the len method displays the number of items in a list. So the difference between count and len is that len displays total number of items in a list, and count only displays number of times a particular object or a particular item in the list occurs. Reverse method reverses the list. Copy method returns a copy of the list. Pretty self-explanatory, huh? So now we'll be jumping into our Jupyter notebook and seeing how these things work in actual. So I've created a list over here of food items. And as you can see, the syntax is quite simple. The name of the list is written first, and then an equal to sign. And then after the equal to sign, we have square brackets. And in the square brackets, we have all the items that we have as lists. So let's verify if it's actually a list. I'm going to use the type function over here, type food. As you can see, it prints out list. So we've verified that our food list is actually a list. There's a way to find out the number of items in your list using the len method. So len, round brackets, and then the name of the list that we want to find out. Or then, as you can see, it outputs 3, which is exactly the number of items in our list. The append method adds an element to the end of the list. So let's add pasta to the list again, since I like pasta a lot. As you can see, pasta is added to our list. What if I want to count the number of times pasta has occurred in my list? Well, I just have to say food.count and then pass pasta as a parameter, and that will output number of times pasta has occurred. As you can see, it has occurred 2 times in our list. And then similar to the append method that we used earlier, we have the insert method, which is used to insert an element at a certain position. So I'm just going to say food.insert, round brackets. And for example, if I want to insert something at the second position or the first index. So I write the position over here and the item I want to insert as a second parameter. Okay, so that has been inserted in our list. There you go. Tacos has been inserted at the first index or the second position in our list. Okay, so this is how our list currently looks. A way to make a copy of our list is just to say copy is equal to food.copy. Print copy. As you can see, it prints out exactly the same list, and the same list is stored in a new variable called as copy. This is another list I've created of dessert items, and I want to add this list to our existing food list. So how should I do that? Well, I would give a name. I'm just going to say all food is equal to food plus dessert. Print all food. As you can see, it has printed out all the items in our food list, as well as all the items in our dessert list together in a new list called as the all food list. Okay, so we saw how to combine two lists together. Now, what if I want to access a specific element? Well, all I have to do is just say all underscore food, since that's the name of our list, and then square brackets, and then 0. That would give us burger because that's at the 0th index. What if I want to access tacos? Well, I'm just going to say 1. That would give me tacos. And of course, -1 would give me the last element of the list, which is gulab jam. Delicious. And -2 would give me ice cream, and so on. What if I want to change the value of one of my items in the list to something else? All I have to do is say name of my list, square brackets, and the index of the position that I want to change, or the element that I want to change. For example, if I want to change this pasta to something else, well, this is the first, second, third, and fourth. So fourth position is the third index. So all food, square brackets 3, is equal to, let's say, rice. Print all food. As you can see, it has been changed to rice. What if I want to access a specific slice of our list? For example, I only want to access these 4 items. Well, all I have to do is say all food, square brackets, and the first element index. So this is 1 colon the last element index plus 1. So this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is at the 4th index. So 4 plus 1 is 5. That would give me exactly what I want. This 5 over here specifies the last element, or the index of the last element plus 1. So this list is going to include everything from the first index up to the 5th index, but not including what's on the 5th index. So 1 to 4 is going to be included in this list. And writing these are kind of optional. So if you say colon 5, that's exactly the same as writing it as 0 colon 5. So if you don't include anything over here, it's going to assume it to be a 0. As you can see, it has started from the 0th index up to the 5th index, but not including the 5th index. Of course, the second parameter is also optional. And if you say 1 colon and nothing after it, it's the same as writing it as (1 colon n plus 1, where n is the last element of the list. So that's till the end of the list. This goes till the end of the list. As you can see, it started from the 1st index and went all the way to our last element, which is gulab jam. Okay, so these are only some of the basic methods that we saw, and you can always find more in the Python docs. It's a lot to dig into if you start, really studying it. This is a list of numbers that I've created just to show you some of the operations that we can do on this. So I want the list to be sorted first of all. So all I have to do is sorted and pass the name of the list as my parameter. And there you go, the list is sorted. What if I want to find the smallest element of the list? All I have to do is min, pass the name of the list, and there you go. That's the smallest element of our list. Similarly, max gives you the largest number of the list, which is 70. Perfect. And sum, numList, gives you the addition of all the elements in the list, which is 135. And I told you that lists can contain objects of different data types together. So this is an example. For example, 12, and then 13.0, and cat. So this is an object, this is an integer, this is a floating number, and this is a string. And let's check if it's a valid list by using our type function. As you can see, it's a valid list. So that's about it for this video, and I hope to see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.